Big Papa Scorch, one of the most fan-favorite Titans in Titanfall 2, but is he really as good as everybody thinks he is? Let's talk about Scorch's pros and cons, let's talk about how to best utilize him best in Frontier Defense, and let's see if he actually lives up to the fiery legend that he's created. Hey, what's going on, guys? So I think all of us are in agreement that Papa Scorch is by far one of the funnest Titans to actually play in Titanfall 2. From lighting people up with his thermite launcher or setting people ablaze with his traps and his thermal walls, it's a lot of fun to actually just play Titan and to set the world on fire. You know, every man, some people just want to watch the world burn, and that's us. That's us getting to play as Scorch, and it's a lot of fun to do that. But he's definitely one of the hardest Titans to actually master and be able to use effectively and use pretty well because of some of his limitations as a Titan. So let's kind of get into some of the things that makes him a great Titan to play with, kind of the ways to actually use him, best as, that support Titan, that guarding Titan of pathways to the Harvester, as well as let's talk about some of his limitations so you guys don't fall into the trap of being a Scorch player and then losing your Titan pretty quickly in the game. So first off, let's talk about Scorch's pros of how he's able to lock down areas with his thermite. This dude is amazing for being able to control pathways and doing a lot of damage to multiple different Titans. I think the best game that I ever had in Frontier Defense, I was playing as Scorch and I had like 9,000 points of my score playing as him. So he's an amazing Titan to play. He's definitely a fun Titan to play. And being able to, use his area effects, using that flame to cover the ground, control pathways that Titans are going down, like these Ronins are coming down this pathway. I'm able to block their way, or if they actually want to push through, they have to go through my flames to get to me, and they have to go through all that damage. And hopefully by the time they actually get to me, I get to destroy them. And same as well as his traps, his flame traps, being able to, take people on. All these specters that are dropping out of the ship, I'm able to, throw one out and be able to blast them, or I'm able to wipe them up with my flame shield. He definitely has a lot of abilities that work for him that are just a lot of fun to being able to control an area or control a pathway so enemies have a difficult time coming towards you. But sometimes Scorch can actually get pretty overwhelmed in Frontier Defense. I mean, like right now, there's a lot of Titans coming after me, and I have a terrible time trying to control all of them because it's just me. I'm just one Scorch in this entire fight, and it's definitely a difficult thing to do when you don't have other Titans supporting you. And that's where Scorch, comes into the light of having, not only is he supporting Titans, but other Titans are supporting him. Not only is he doing area damage, but other Titans are helping him by doing, specific damage to different Titans that are around him. And that's where, Scorch shines. He shines as a support tank Titan because he's able to lock down pathways, do a lot of damage in an area to lock down. But he definitely, goes down in flames, no pun intended, when he doesn't have other people to support him. And that's the greatest, weakness of Scorch because, he needs those Titans. He needs people to support him. He needs, to have his backup because he cannot control areas all by himself when he's getting very overwhelmed. So a pro is that, again, he has great area control. He has a great way to defend himself with his thermite shield, being able to, take drones out of the air or take stalkers out of the ground when they're running towards you, or even when Titans push up on you and being able to throw that thermite that shield, or throwing the thermal shield up when projectiles are coming to you, when you have the minigun of Legion shooting at you. It's definitely great to have that. So let's get into the cons real quick and talk about different ways that people can actually support Scorch, because Scorch is an amazing Titan, but he definitely needs help from people that have direct damage. Guns that can shoot like the 40 mil or the Legion's minigun or the Monarch's XO16. He definitely needs support from other Titans that have direct impact damage, and they can also hit people from very far away or different heights. Scorch has a terrible time being able to hit like the specters that are shooting mortars if they're on a building or something like that. Scorch has definitely a difficult time doing it from different angles, and he has to always maneuver around the map to get better angles, and that goes against him as well because he's a slow, bulky Titan that doesn't get around the map fast enough. So that's another con that he has of being able to be a big target against the other Titans, I mean, hell, when you're playing as Scorch, you're going to have a lot of people shooting at you because you're a big-ass Titan on the battlefield, and you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So you have to be able to utilize Scorch the best way possible, either using his thermal shield and blocking some of that damage, or the way that I like to play Scorch is by using, you know, kind of hit-and-run tactics of being able to use the environment to me. I'm trying to hide behind this pillar on black water just to, you know, keep damage from getting to me. I hide behind it, shoot. Hide behind it, shoot. Lay down some area, get behind cover. Lay down a thermal the thermal wall. That way they're not able to come down my pathway. Hide, back away, and do another thing, and rinse and repeat. And that's, I believe, where, you know, that Scorch actually shines, is being able to do that hit and run to cover, get away from damage, get away from the enemies, and then go back at it again as his abilities are charging. And that's the best way that I can tell you guys right now to go against his cons and use his abilities the best way possible at being a hit and run Titan. Now his next con comes in the form of his thermite launcher. Again, his thermite launcher does not deal a whole lot of damage, and it's very hit and miss. It's very random for his thermite launcher to actually stick onto targets. I mean, again, you know, even though he got, you know, buffs in certain areas when it comes to his kit, but when it comes to his weapon, it barely got touched at all. You're going to have a very difficult time to actually deal a lot of damage with that thermite launcher, just because it doesn't stick. You know, sometimes it sticks and does a lot of damage, and sometimes it doesn't. And then sometimes with wildfire, it does, you know, a significant amount of damage. But again, that you know, randomness of it sticking onto targets is one thing that's going to hamper Scorch down a lot until they actually get it fixed to where he's actually doing consistent damage, just like all the other Titans. You know, we want Scorch to do consistent damage all around, and then when he can't do it, it just hampers him down as a Titan. So that's another one of his cons. And for his final one is the fact that, you know, setting yourself on fire and being burned by your own fire sucks. It really does suck. And you have to actually select a different kit for Scorch to where you don't actually get burned by your own fire. And that sucks, just because, you know, you could use that kit for different things. To where you could deal out more damage with your thermite. You could have a better shield that dealt more damage, but you have to now mitigate the damage you do to yourself, because the possibility of doing damage through your fire you put on the ground is definitely out there. I mean, there's times where I'm not using tempered plating because I want to use wildfire to get more damage out onto different Titans, or I want to have a longer shield, a stronger shield to kind of mitigate some of the attacks that are coming from different Titans. But having that, you know, temper plating off, I deal a lot of damage myself, because I might be backing through, walking through different fires that I've been setting on the ground, and that definitely sucks as playing Scorch, because not only are you doing damage to Titans that you're trying to fight, but you're also doing damage to yourself because you're walking through your own fire that you set on the ground. So it definitely sucks trying to, you know, have to pick a difference between wanting to deal a lot of damage and wanting to kind of protect yourself from your own fire. So that's why I recommend, you know, even if you don't play with temper plating, you don't want to kind of protect yourself with that, do that hit and run kind of method of being somebody that hides behind cover, takes cover, and tries to kind of throw your thermal damage in front of you, and you're not trying to go through it, and you're not trying to back through it. So again, use wildfire if you do. Definitely use that hit and run tack that I've been kind of talking about. Now let's talk about the different kits to use as Scorch, as well as all the upgrades you get to look forward to as you're leveling them up through Frontier Defense. So I definitely recommend using Overcore as your Titan core, because you're able to use Flame Core a lot more often with how much damage you're actually dealing, and you're able to build your core a lot faster. So Overcore just helps you being able to amplify how much you're going to be able to use your Flame Core more often, and it's just a big recommendation to deal out a lot of damage. Now for Scorch's kit, you have two recommendations from me, just because I feel like they work out the best. So Wildfire is going to give you a lot more DPS with your Thermite Launcher, even though it's kind of a gamble on if your Thermite's going to stick on the target and deal more damage, or it's just going to hit them and bounce off. So you have to watch out for that, but it's going to help you get more DPS. The next one is Tempered Plating. Tempered Plating is going to get away from your crit hits. You're not going to be dealt too much damage, but also you don't get a whole lot of damage from your Thermite that you put on the ground or you lay out with your traps. And it helps out a lot being able to either, you know, maybe you're surrounded by people and you need to lay down a trap and you don't get burnt by it because you have temper plating on. It's very nice to have. You're not going to get dealt any damage from your own DPS that you're putting out. So it's a lot of fun to have on here. And it's just an insurance policy pretty much for you that you're not going to be doing any damage to yourself. Now, real quick, I'm going to go over his upgrades as he's making his progress through Frontier Defense, but there's actually a gripe I have with it, and I'll kind of save it to the end, and just I want to bounce this off of you and see if you guys feel the same way. So for his first upgrade, you actually now get 2 shots in your Thermite Launcher. So it's awesome now to, you know, not only just shoot and then reload, you have a secondary shot. But the one thing is that you have to reload both shots. So it's not like you're shooting 2 shots, you reload, one round, and then you're ready to fire. You're shooting both shots, and you have to reload 2 rounds. So it's kind of weird, but that's how they have it set up. But you at least get a little bit, hopefully a little bit more DPS on the target. Now the next upgrade is Hot Streak. Now this is pretty cool. So the more damage you actually deal in a short amount of time, your core ability actually builds faster, to where you can use Flame Core a lot more often. So say that you throw a trap down and you throw down some walls and you shoot with your thermite and you're dealing a lot of damage, you're getting a lot of hit markers, get those hit points. This actually ticks faster on your Flame Core to where it builds up quicker. Again, like I said, Overcore helps you out by giving you that little boost. This gives you a little bit more of a boost to be able to use your Flame Core a lot more often, have a lot more fun with it, and be able to deal out a lot more damage. So I love Hot Streak, just being there to, help me get my core a lot more often. Now, Roaring Flames is really cool because it's just giving you a lot more damage with all your flame abilities, and it's just a cool thing to have to just deal out a lot more damage at the higher difficulties. I mean, the bosses are going to have a lot more health, are going to be a lot more harder to kind of kill and go after, so just having an increase to DPS and to all the damage they're going to be putting out on the ground while they're walking through it is definitely a plus, and you'll need it as you're actually going through these harder difficulties. Now, Triple Threat again gives you another round into your thermite launcher, and it will increase it now from 2 to 3, and it's just giving you a lot more DPS for your thermite launcher. Now, again, like I said, with the 2 rounds that actually go in, since there's 3, you're gonna have to reload 3 rounds. So a little bit more time is taken up with reloading, and I'll kind of get into this towards the end of the video. But it gives you a little bit more DPS shooting 3 rounds now instead of just 1 or 2. It's a great thing to have as something that you're wanting to deal a lot more damage out, but it's just one thing I do have a question about that I'd love to bring up. Last thing is Explosive Barrels. So this is kind of a cool. So any trap that you lay down and that you set on fire, instead of just the trap setting on fire and that's it, this causes a small explosion that deals out AoE damage. So it's another cool thing that he has at his disposal to deal out damage to stalkers, reapers, titans, anything that's around when this trap blows up and he deals damage. So another cool thing to where he's dealing out a lot more damage in an area, and it helps a lot too when you're trying to lock down pathways that people are trying to come down. Now, the one thing I wanted to talk about with a thermite launcher and getting additional rounds to it, I do have a gripe about it because, yeah, you're getting, more shells. You're getting 2-3 shells later on through the upgrade, but it takes almost longer to actually load individual rounds into the thermite launcher to deal damage. So, yeah, you're getting these 3 shots, but you're losing time because you're loading these 3 rounds. So my whole thing is with getting additional rounds, why not just have 1 round? You're reloading 1 round that contains maybe 3 shots in it. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing, and you're not losing time out on dealing damage. So it's just one gripe I have with it. It's just kind of a weird thing, but I just would love to know what you guys think about reloading 3 separate rounds instead of just reloading 1 round and it being able to shoot 3. Well, guys, I have to say it's an awesome time to play Scorch. It's a lot of fun as a firefighter to actually play Scorch and set fires instead of trying to put them out. He's definitely a fun Titan to use. He's an awesome kind of just threatening Titan to use on the battlefield when you're using it either in PvP or you're having fun in Frontier Defense. It's definitely a lot of fun to use Scorch. Does he live up to the legend that a lot of people are kind of putting him to? I don't know yet. There's still some buffs I think that need to happen to Scorch to make him just a true reckoning on the battlefield, but hopefully maybe later on we'll see kind of what help Scorch can get. But I hope this guide helps you out so much. I really do just want to try to help people out that don't normally use or try out different Titans. But I hope you use this guide and it finds you well in Frontier Defense, and I hope this gets you up into the higher difficulties. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me down in the comments below if it helped out, if it didn't, or if I missed something, let me know, and I can try to cover it on later. So hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time.